Hello YouTube, it's me, the Swiss Outdoorsman. Today I want to talk about the Worksharp sharpening system, the Ken Onion edition to be exact. We have different parts. We have the usual guiding slate to sharpen your knives, and we have the blade grinding attachment, which I prefer to use. Excuse me, I'm still a bit sick, my nose is a bit stuffed, so my voice is a bit kanky, but I think it's going to be alright. Alright, so this is the system that I use always to sharpen almost all of my knives. I think it's a great system. You're very versatile on how to use or what to use. This original part where it comes with, I have personally never used. It's been unused since I have it. It's still a very intuitive thing to have. So you have your lever back here for the installation. This one we will come to in a minute. You push down this lever, you put it on, and then just turn wherever you want it. When you push the lever, you're able to turn it. So this is the usual stance, and you would take your knife. I will take a kitchen knife real quick. You put in a belt first. You have several belts, I'll come to them in a minute. Back here you have the lever to lift up your guide, which makes it easier to install the whole thing. Now I usually go underneath here, put it in, then hold it tight here, lift up the lever, and just flip it on. Like that, you're installed. It's got the right spring on it, all ready to go. You put this one down. You set your angles first, of course. So for a kitchen knife, I would probably go with like something around this, like 17.5 or 16 degrees. You can see here the angle changing. When I change the wheel, the angle will change. You can go from 30 down to 15. We will stay at our like 17.5 for a kitchen knife. Then you put your knife onto the side, pose it on to this one, which turns, and you pull your knife through. The tip, you have to look that the tip will not pass half of the grid, because when you pass it all through with push, it will round off your tip. So when you push the knife through, it sharpens, and you stop here and take it out. Okay, so this is the original attachment it comes with. What I use is the blade grinding attachment. I think it's essential also for this for this system. I have bought it right off the bat. I never used anything else with it, and I'm super comfortable now after a lot of practice, and I'm super happy with it as well. I really like using it for all my blades. We can talk about the belts real quick. So what we have on here right now is the corse one, 120 grit. When you need fast progress, you take the 120 grit. Then next up you have the coarse belt, then a medium belt. It's the other way around. This one is the coarse one, this one is the medium. And then you have a fine belt, which really has some ceramic foam or film on it, which will rub off eventually when you use it. And then here it came with the purple mesh belt of 6,000 grit. After this belt, you'll have a polished edge. It's not a true mirror, of course. I mean, the steps are too big. I think this is 120, this is 240. then it goes up to to, I don't know, man, to 1,000, 2,600, or to 3,000, and then to 6,000. So the steps are pretty big between the belts. Now what I did, I bought a leather strap that you can put on the machine also, so you can put compound on it to like just hone your blades when you come home from the woods, and you would usually strap it. You can put this belt on lowest speed and just hone them. What I bought for my Ken Onion edition is a lower grit. This is 80 grit. 80 grit is just like if you want to shave off a lot, if you regrind your knives, or if you like our project that we're gonna make, you use these belts only if you really want to remove material. Else there would be the 120 grit, as we have seen before, the coarse one, the medium one, and the fine one. Now this one is already used a bit, so you can see the difference. I used it for like 2 or 3 knives. It comes off. More used one is this one, where you can see that it's already all the, or almost all the stuff is removed. This is an even older one. I used to keep them because like this I can make more steps, like in more fine steps. And you have a mesh belt which is in a 12,000 grit. So this step up from this extra fine belt, which is 3,000 or 3,600 grit, up to 12,000 is just too big. I ordered purple ones, but they're not easy to come by here in Europe, but they will come eventually. I think I can make more finer steps with these older belts when I really wanna polish an edge to like a mirrorish finish. I'll show you the assembly first. With this one, it's very easy. You have this nod which comes in here. It's counterclockwise. You put it on counterclockwise. Don't tighten it too much, but just like hand tight, so you can open it easily as well. But hand tight, it has to be hand tight. This one doesn't have a lever or anything. You just put it on, turn it to your direction where you need it. It's still, it would be still movable, but you will never use it in another position than this. You have different features on here. Here you see you have a plate. So you have actually a surface behind the belt, but let's put a belt in. This actually is a bit easier in my opinion to put in the belt. You just put it over here, put it in like this, and then pop up this one and it will tighten it. Like this is it is all in place. I will show you after how to center the blade, or center the belt when I start it. It comes with a nice cable. It's not a very long cable, I have to say. Maybe 1.5 meters in total. I will add that in. I'll add that in a box, how much that is in inch. So you need to be pretty close to the next electric supply. But I can show you how to start it up. I lowered the volume when because the thing is, that's another, not a downside, but it's not the best thing. It's pretty loud. So you have a speed setting down here. You can see this little wheel. You can turn it to plus, from plus to minus. You have, yeah, they say it's 3 settings, but this thing can be, you can really put it to the setting exactly where you want it. So if you start it, as you heard, you can turn it down, turn it up, exactly where you want it. It doesn't have a description on how many RPMs, or I think it's given in surface feet per minute. It doesn't have a description on how much or where you turn the wheel, how many rounds or surface feet per minute you have, but I think it's pretty good adjustable on what you want to do. Now we have one more feature here, that's the angles. You see them right here. You can just loosen up, let's take the belt off for a second, take the whole thing off for a second. You can just loosen up this one. Once you have it loose, don't take it off, but loosen it. You can adjust your angle right here. So for our future project, I'm going all up because I'll explain that in a minute why. And you tighten it back and it's going to be all set. I also tighten this like hand tight because you want to open it, and it will not open on you while sharpening. I've been sharpening hours on this thing and it never opened. Just one time where I forgot to really close it, the angle went down, or like up during the sharpening process, which was pretty shitty. But that happens to you one time, and after, never again. Alright, so let's put the belt back on. Oh, let's tighten it first, put it in first, belt back on, and let's talk about our project that I've been thinking of, because just sharpening a knife with it would be too late. So I have a knife that lost the tip. We're going to remodel that tip. I'll take some off of the edge. I think I want to go. It has this recurve and it goes up here, so I was thinking about giving it a bit more belly, but still a pointy point. So how do we do that? And before I mark it, I always wanted to make a true convex on a knife, like with the Worksharp. You can do that with the belts. It will be true convex in the end. I think this is not the easiest blade with that recurve in it, because you're going to have to like walk like this on the machine all the time to get the recurve, but I think I can do it. And if not, the worst thing that can happen is that I just sharpen out this recurve a bit. But anyway, we'll see how it goes. This logo will be gone. I would really love to catch this part of the swedge all the way through to set my convex. So I want to like here make it convex from the edge of the swedge all down to the edge. So convex to zero basically. Now first I'll mark with the Sharpie where I want this, and then I'll take the surface here and I will grind that out like this, like in this kind of motion. This is the 80 grit belt. I think I'm going to have a lot of progress with it. That's an N690 steel, as you can see. As you can see here, we'll see how fast it goes or how many passes we'll need. But yeah, let's jump into it. Have it marked. I think that wouldn't be too bad, maybe a bit more flat. Like here. It's not going to be too bad. Okay, now I have to look that I catch the other side. So I think it should be about the same on both sides. What do you think, guys? Leave it in the comments. Am I fucking up already? I am. Don't I? Yeah, this one is more going up faster. So it's not removable. So I'll just look on this side. Okay. I'll start. Oh yeah. Now you can see the blade is not in center. Center would be here, or like here. You have this little thing down here to turn on, to adjust that. I'll show you. Now it's centered and all good to go. All right. Let's see. So I didn't take away all the Sharpie, but in my opinion that looks pretty badass. Oh yeah, I have something more, one more thing to talk about with you guys, and that is cooling. One thing that can happen, which is a big downside of this machine, is that you can overheat your steel, which means you can mess up the heat treat and you can mess up your blade completely. Now the tip gets hot, of course, when you, especially with the low grits and removing a lot of material, it gets hot. Now when you want to look how hot the blade is, if you use your fingertips, it's never going to be accurate, because your fingertips are used to grab stuff, used to grab hot things. If you want to use something, use the inside of your fingers, or of course if you're a horseback rider and you have the reins there all day long, you can use the inside of your wrist as well. The skin is way thinner inside of the fingers or at your wrist. Alright, now I have, what you need to look at is, I always take a bowl that is big enough to put the whole blade inside, or almost the whole blade inside, that it can really cool off. The thinner part of the blade up here always gets hot faster, of course, than the part back here. Now I will refill a little bit more of water that I can come until here, just because I'm going to remove a lot of material. You don't want the water to be too cold. You don't want to like aggressively cool down the blade. Room temperature is fine, and don't let the blade be too hot. If it gets hot on your wrist that you don't want to leave it on there, just cool it off. One more time cooling could save your blade. Alright, with that being said, I always dry off the blade pretty good, because I don't want the wet blade on these belts. Alright, let's see. Yeah, that's good. That's good. If you really want to be very fancy, you can take descaled water, or like if you want it to be top notch, you take rainwater. That would be the best thing to do. Alright, let's get into it. I'll start in the middle, that I have the reference point of the swedge to start with, and then I'll just remove all the material all down to the edge. Let's see how many passes it's going to take with the 80 grit belt. So the reason why I stay on the tip, or I stayed on the tip for a long time now, is because I want to have that tip done. And that is done now. The tip is sharp, or there is a burr on it. Now I can go on with the rest of the blade. What I fucked up is the swedge. So there is this rolling point here. When I put the blade onto the whole thing, the rolling point just takes down the swedge. Now, you can see that I've already taken some material of here, but it's going to take a long time. What I'm going to do now is this portion of the blade. I'm going to stay here for a long time, which is good in one way. It's just it's not going to overheat as fast as the tip, and I'm not going to have to cool it that many times. But yeah, also with the 80 grit belt, it's just, it takes some time. Can take a new one because it's worn down already a bit, but after the usage of 8 knives, of course, it's already worn down a bit. Now I will have a look if it's better with a new one. Alright, here we go. I just came up with that I can maybe pull it through down here, because I'll have more flexibility of the belt, and here you are always limited with the distance. So I think when I pull it down here, it will be better. But this N690 steel is hardened to 60 HRC, and that's pretty hard. So I could have taken a better blade to make this project. This is going to be a long ride, but you're going to be with me, guys. Let's go. Alright guys, so I think this is going to be as convex as I am going to get. As you can see, there is still a kind of flat part in here, but it's going to take hours to get down there. So this is how I'm going to leave it. I mean, it's going to zero down here, but until I remove all this belly, it's going to take hell of long of a time. I could have taken a better steel to start with, but yeah, I will change belts, speed it up, and we will see the final product. Alright guys, so I'm done with the blade. I'm done. After, as I always say, after the fine belt, the white one, the burr should be gone. It even got a bit shiny, as we can see, and the not shiny part in here is like the part that is not convexed. If I'd go down all the way, I would lose a bit of width as well in the blade, but I would actually not care. But it just took too long, and I don't want to be sharpening for 3 hours. Maybe if I would have a 40 grit belt, it would go faster, but the N690 steel in 60 HRC, or I don't know how hard this is, maybe it's even harder. It's just a bit of a pain in the butt to sharpen for me. Yeah, so let's see how sharp it is, guys. Yeah, it's kind of sharp. But actually, when I can do this on this magazine paper, the knives are sharp as hell. Alright, I think that's it for the Worksharp. As you guys have seen, I used this technique down here to make the convex edge in the end. It really allows you to get a lot of belt onto the blade, as you can see here. As you can see here, you have a lot of belt on the blade. Up here, there's just not enough flexible belt to get your knife into. Or, yeah, with this knife, it's just enough. But down here, you can easily pull it through, and you are fully convex on the thing. Yeah, I'm happy, and thank you so much for watching, guys. If you came this far, don't forget to follow, don't forget to put that thumbs up, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.